to Tri-Cities with him for 2 weeks and just capture content.
Wow.
And I didn't want to be. Like deep down, I needed the cash, so I'm like, man, like I don't know what I'm doing, but like screw it, like I'm gonna figure it out.
Do it though. Yeah.
And I shoot everything, do all that. I send him the content. He's like, man, this is fire. Like, you get it. Like, you get how to capture me. Because he's a very funny guy. Like, so I'm like, you gotta match the BTSs of, like, who he really is. And, like, everyone around is just funny. Like, they talk shit to each other, but you see them getting work done. I send the video. He's like, man, like, this is good. He's like, I think I'm going to make you my, like, BTS guy, like, wherever I'm at and I need you. And then I tell them, I'm just like, hey, bro, would you believe me if I told you, like, I've never done this? Like, this is, like, I was like, if we're being honest with each other, like, if we're going to, like, build a relationship and be homies, like, I got to be transparent. I was like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, guys, this is the Untapped Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Navan.
And I'm your host, Max Prado.
And today we have a very special guest, somebody that's been mentioned on multiple episodes of our podcast, our friend, visual subject, also known as Cris. And he's an up-and-coming photographer from Bridgeport, Washington. Cris has taken images of some of the most iconic scenes in Seattle's music scene, as well as some of the world's most iconic figures, such as G-Eazy and YG. He goes by the pseudo-name Visual Subject, and he's one of our best friends. Cris, welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, good, man.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
How's it feel being in front of a camera?
It's weird. I'm like, especially this setup you guys got going on, this is different. It's like 3-4 cameras in front of me. It's like I'm being interrogated.
Crazy. We're in the studio right now.
Yeah, we're in the studio,
man.
Yeah.
So, Cris, I want to know a little bit more about your background, where you came from. For those of you that aren't from the Washington area, Cris is from Bridgeport, and it's a small town in central Washington. So tell us a little bit about how you grew up.
So, yeah, I just grew up in a very rural area, very agriculture, not much to do out there. Went to school. Took a lot of art classes growing up. Wasn't really involved in sports, which led me to, like, where the journey begins. From there, I ended up taking a photography class my sophomore year of high school.
Nice.
And from there, it was a yearbook class, actually.
Oh.
And from I didn't even want to be in the class. It's like first half semester of it. After that semester, I ended up falling in love with the craft.
Yeah.
Bought a camera, started studying it. From there, by the time I reached my senior year, I was thinking, like, well, where am I going to go with this? Like, what do I want to do? And I was just very invested into the camera, so I ended up going to Spokane.
Oh, wow.
Spokane Falls Community College.
Gotcha.
And after that, I just studied the craft, was there for like 2.5 years, and then stayed in Spokane for like another 3, just like trying to like figure out the music scene there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then while I was actually in college, I was photographing shows, going to school, like staying up to like 3-4 in the morning, editing stuff, getting it to managers, just to like be the first one to like get the photo posted the next day of like the artists and stuff like that.
And this was all concerts and music in Spokane that you were like...
Yeah, correct. I had been doing that. I was actually doing that in high school, but it was just with my phone. And I was thinking, I was going to the shows, like just like an iPhone.
It's like an iPhone 5S or something?
Yeah, I'd be in the barricade. So I wasn't even like a photographer. So I was just kind of shooting. Yeah. And then I just edited on my phone and like tag the artist, send it out and stuff. And then I got picked up. But just by doing that by a media outlet called Respect My Region, based in Seattle.
So you were doing all of this on your phone and you were already getting noticed.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Really?
I was like at 17. And like that media outlet called Respect My Region had seen the images, and he's like, oh, where are you from? And I was just like, oh, I'm currently living in Bridgeport. This is what I'm doing. So they were the first ones that actually took a chance on me. I was like, I learned how to like write blog posts through them. It was just like the very basics.
And Respect My Region is like a local newsletter or newspaper?
It's just like a Seattle-based local like media outlet. At the time, it's gotten very big. Like that's where you go to like for sources now, like new music, who's hot in the city and stuff like that. So they're big now, but like back in the day, this was probably like 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So where were you posting for them to notice?
Just Instagram.
Instagram.
That's the best platform for marketing.
What year was that?
2014.
2014, man. 7 years ago.
And you got found because of iPhone photos.
Yeah.
That's
just like using like VSCO filters and stuff like that.
That's cool, man. So going back to what you said about the art class that you took, that kind of that was your intro into photography, right?
So like to get a better understanding of that, I was actually trying to just like do another art class, like ceramics, I believe.
Yeah.
And I come back. So like, you know, when you're doing your classes, that going into like summer. So then when you come back in the fall, you know what you have. I had signed for that class. I came back and they told me like that class is too full. You can't
Man.
So we're putting you in yearbook. And I was just like, what the hell? Like,
That's
I don't want to do that. Like, I've never
Oh,
held the
yeah.
camera. So they tell me just write it out for the first semester. If you don't like it, you can like switch out.
Yeah.
So were you
That's
taking like
crazy.
yearbook photos or like?
Yeah,
what was-
just yearbook. We were learning Photoshop in there and like Lightroom, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those
okay.
Old school
Right,
Photoshop. So
man.
yeah,
That was destiny speaking to you though, man. You know how sometimes some things happen and people are like, man, why did this happen to me? I wish that didn't happen. Like you were kind of mad that you got stuck in the class.
I got home, I was punching the air. I was like, man, I don't want to take this. Like, why?
Yeah. I
And
know the
then
feeling, yeah.
even like just like the first week of the class too, it was just like a headache because it was like literally the basics. Like you gotta learn each button of the camera.
Mhm.
What is it that you do? And I was just telling the teacher, I was like, man, like I don't want to do this. Like, is there? I was finding any way to get out. So then I stuck with it. I was like, you know what? At least learn it. You may never use it, but
May
then-
never
and now-
use it.
now
Yeah,
here I
man,
am.
Look
Yeah.
at where you at now.
yeah. So like after
That's
I wrote out the whole semester, and then that next summer I bought a camera. And the funny
Yeah.
thing is too, I didn't know nothing about shows at the time. I was just shooting with my iPhone and like buying a ticket.
Yeah.
That's what I was used to doing.
Right.
I didn't know how to like contact managers or like media outlets and stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
learn that till like the first incident when I bought the camera. I was trying to go to a G-Eazy show
Mhm.
in Spokane. It was at the Knitting Factory.
Yeah.
I bought the camera that day and I'm excited. I was like, I have my ticket, I have VIP. Like I'm just gonna go in there with a camera and take photos.
Yeah.
Like
That's cool, man.
ignorance.
And
What
it
was-
didn't work out.
It didn't work out. So like check this out. I'm at the line and some security guard that I've actually now have become to like know. And when I go to shows, like we talk about it, we laugh about it. But he gave me game on that. He's just like, he saw that I had a bag and I was in line. He's like, hey kid, come over here. And he's like, what do you got in the bag? And I was like, my camera. He's like, are you with the media outlet? Or like, who are you shooting for, the artist? Or what? He's like, oh no, I'm just gonna shoot the show. Just being oblivious to everything. He's
Like
like,
you bought a ticket, you were just
yeah, I
gonna
was,
show up as a fan.
yeah, with
to
the
shoot for show?
whole ass
He
camera.
was giving you a way in,
Ah.
He's all like-
essentially.
He's all like, you realize you can't do that. And I was like, why? He's like, because you got to be with the artist or you got to shoot with like a media outlet. Like
There's some
it's
copyright.
illegal to just come in here with like a professional
that's
camera.
legal.
And it makes sense because like you're
Yeah.
photographing artists, you can get bad pictures of them. Or like if your intent is to do something like to where you're just making them look bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand. I was like, what do you mean? Like I just can't come in. Like I just bought $1,000 camera. I'm excited to use it.
And you're over here like, dude, I just took photos, man, on my iPhone.
my
Yeah, and I was,
iPhone before.
and I think I was showing him my Instagram. I was like, "Look, I'm a photographer,"
yeah.
and he's just like I said, like you can't. So I'm just like, whatever, man. And right before that, actually, you guys are familiar with Soul, right, from Seattle?
Yeah.
He was opening for G-Eazy, and I had seen him before that incident, and I had told him, "Yeah, I'm gonna take photos," and like I'm excited. He's like, "Oh yeah, bro, hell yeah!" Like I'm
He
excited.
probably
to see.
assumed you went through the proper channels to do
Yeah.
that though.
So then, like that
Oh,
whole
that's
incident
crazy.
happens. I don't use my camera. I'm just in there, like with everyone else, just
just
shooting with my
vibing.
phone again. Yeah, and then like after the show, like I'm talking to Soy. He's like, "Man, I'm excited to see the photos." And I told him, I was just sad at that point. I was like, "Man, like this is what happened." And then he tells me, he's all like, "Bro, why didn't you just tell me? Like I could have gone and like made you legit. I could have said you were my photographer." And I was like, "Well, now I know." Like, but then like I'm very grateful that the security like didn't just like get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
he gave me like proper steps. This is what you do. You go online. You got to be backed up by a media outlet, like a
Right.
magazine or whatever. Is like Respect My Region, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it was those photos actually from that show that I took with my phone that got Respect My Region's attention.
Wow.
Yeah, so because they saw that I had photographed Soul like just on my iPhone, and I had taken a picture with him, and they posted them like the next day, I think.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so then from that it built a relationship with them, and then I started like shooting some stuff
Yeah.
for them and like writing blog posts.
See,
and
that's
stuff.
important. That says a
Yeah.
lot about your work ethic, though, because most people would have gone into the show, been mad, been sad, and just watched the show.
Yeah.
But you got creative. You're like, you know what? I've been doing it with my phone. I'm gonna pull
Yeah.
it out. I'm gonna get some shots, and those were the shots that got you noticed by
And
Respect
that's
My Region.
real.
And like now speaking about it, it's crazy because like that's what it was. It was just me. I was like, man, you know what? I've done it before. I'll just do it again. See what happens. Just throwing them at the wall,
Mhm.
and it stuck. But I remember going back home that night, and just going on my phone and like researching like what it is, like
Yeah.
like how do you become a concert photographer? How do you do this? How do you do that? And just by like doing the proper research, and then that landed on me with Respect My Region. So that was already a media outlet there.
Mhm.
So that allowed me to like be legit
That's
for the
cool.
most part. Yeah.
So from that opportunity and taking pictures on your iPhone, getting noticed by Respect My Region. You ended up getting connected with WSU, Washington State University, to shoot photos at their events too.
Correct.
And that took you out of Spokane into kind of, I guess, the college music scene, right?
Yeah, and that's another funny thing because I was at another G-Eazy show. That was when he was at the Spokane Arena this time.
Yeah.
So at an arena. And I was just walking around. And the crazy thing about that too is the way that I do things, it's like at times, like when it's last minute, that's when I feel like that's like the best things that happen because I was supposed to just go to the show as well, just as a fan. I was just going to go enjoy it. And by then, I had already made a relationship with someone that was close to G-Eazy's team. Shout out Danielle Ellis. She actually runs a magazine that I'm also a part of right now called Ellis Music Magazine.
Oh,
and that's her. So at the time,
Gotcha.
like she was working with the fan website for G-Eazy called Official Easy Season, and I was supposed to meet her at another show. This is another like powerful thing too about social media. I had just DM'd her on Twitter, and we just kept that relationship going. And she had told me if you ever have any questions, like text me here, call me with like any photography.
Wow,
related.
so she actually gave you her contact information to reach out to her.
Yeah, so like
Wow.
going like that story in itself. So like the way that happened, right? I was at another show. She was supposed to fly in. I was just trying to meet her because I really liked her work, and it didn't happen. I think she had got sick or something. But she told me, it's like, if you ever need anything, just call me. Wow. So then I think like 5 months passed and there's another show, 4G, like I said, the one at the Spokane Arena.
Yeah.
And I had asked her, are you going to be there? Like, I'm trying to meet you. She's like, oh, no, I can't. Like, I have other things that I got to take care of. So then it's literally like the night before the show, a thought just comes into my head. I was just like, what if I were able to shoot the show? Like, she asked me if I ever need anything, like, just to tell her, and she's not going to be there. So they need a photographer is what I'm guessing.
Right.
So I literally just reached out last minute, and I was like, is there any way that I can shoot this show, like, just to get you the photos? And this is, like, my first time shooting a professional show like that.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, like, it's legit, you know? So she's like, email this person, and they should have your, like, credentials by tomorrow, like, with a photo pass. And I was like, okay. She gets back to me. I email the person. They get back to me the next day, and they're like, your photo pass and everything is at the will call. Pick it up, shot the show, and that's where I met the people from WSU.
Wow.
Because I was just walking around, and like I just sparked up a conversation, and then they saw the photos when I posted them like the next day.
Wow, man.
One door opened up another one.
So it's just like literally you taking chances, risks, and then the opportunities just kind of compound over time, man. And it led you to WSU. You were gonna.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, have you read the book The Alchemist?
Yeah.
You have?
I love that
kind
book.
of what you just said kind of reminds me of that, because in that story, you know, the main character, for those of you who haven't read the story, it's about this person's journey, and the main story is about how you just have to keep pursuing your dream, and more doors will open other doors. Yeah. And that kind of reminds me of that. It's kind of like you opened one door, it opened more doors, and it just continued to open doors. You showed up to that one concert, you took those shots with your phone. That opened up another door. You went to the G-Eazy concert. You were social while you were there, so that opened up another door, and it just kept going. It's like a snowball effect.
Domino effect, snowball effect, all that. And going back to The Alchemist too, like just what I just thought about as well is that the fact that when even the things that you're going through, like it's building you for the journey that you're set out to like take, you know, like there's jobs or things that you end up doing at the time that doesn't seem right. Like, why am I doing this? But then as you get into your journey further into it, you realize like I needed those skill sets. I needed that job. I needed that situation. Because for example, like me not wanting to take the photography or like I'm never going to use it. And then taking that class in itself was very fundamental to everything else that I'm doing now, because it really laid out like the basics and like where to go from there.
And one thing that I know you say all the time is you always had faith in what you were doing. Like you never took any obstacle as a way of just getting out and just calling defeat. Like, you know, in that example that you talked about, you know, you had your camera, but because you couldn't take photos with it, you had to take photos on your cell phone. And even that made you like, if you allowed yourself to find more opportunities just based off of that. So I think that's really important just to note too. And just on the Alchemist thing is like, you always had like blind faith that whatever you did towards working towards your goal, like somehow you made it work, dude. So dude, props to you, man. I want to talk about a little bit more about your experience with your first concert. I know, I believe it was with King Little G.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about that.
That one's interesting too, because that was another thing, just going as a fan. Like that was back in like 2013, 2014.
And this was before like all these events that happened.
I was still in high school. I had I was about to be a senior. I already had my camera and everything. That same camera that I tried to use for the G-Eazy show. Yeah. So my uncle actually tells me about the show because he's a big fan of King Lil G, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he said there's gonna be a show in Moses Lake. Like promoters bringing him out here. The promoter is also a rapper. He goes by Vose. Shout out Vose. And he's gonna be here this certain days. Like we should go. And I was like, I'm trying to shoot that. Like I want to meet him.
Yeah.
So I contact the promoter Vose that's bringing him out because he's selling tickets. And he's saying like I'll even go personally deliver them. This and that. And I told my uncle like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. Like we're gonna get 2 tickets. He's gonna come all the way to Bridgeport. And we're gonna finesse it. Like I'll tell him that I'll even sell tickets at the school, and like all I want though is for him to let me shoot the show. And he pulls up. I tell him everything that I just said. He's like, yeah, we can do that. He's like, he's gonna be here. Like just be here at this certain time, and like we'll see what we can do. We go the day of. He tells me everything. He's like, you and someone else. I don't remember the promoters that were there. Like we're photographing it at least, but I show up. And he tells me, he's like, yeah, you're allowed to photograph King Lil G and everything. Like, just, just be mindful of, like, just space throughout the show. Because I had never shot a show. That was, like, my first, in a way, like, not professional, but just, like, going out into the wildfire, just not knowing, never researched how to, like, use a camera in a show setting. Because, like, every environment that you shoot is different with the camera. And, like, I had never been in that situation. Shot the show. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I look at those, at the time, I looked at the photos. I was like, this is the craziest thing. You go from an iPhone to, like, a camera. I thought they were, like, the best, but you look at them now, you're just like, I just cringe.
Like, this is not my best work, but you improve from that.
Yeah, but, like, at the time, that's growth. You see that. But that experience was really fun. I got to meet him. I got to talk with him. And then years later, I hadn't seen King, actually, for, like, another 4 or 5 years after that. Wow. And he remembered that really? We had met. Yeah, we were talking, and by then I was already with the magazine and everything. Like I'm actually shooting shows like legit now. And I tell him, I was like, yeah, man, like this is what it stemmed from. Like I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to shoot the show. Yeah. And this is where it's gotten me to now. And like he was just like, oh, that's what's up. Like I need to get on that magazine and everything. But it built like a little relationship there too.
That's cool.
Did you tell him it was your first time shooting too?
Yeah, I had told him that was my first time ever like stepping into the ring.
Wow.
And just
what did he say? He's like, damn man, you killed it. Or...
Yeah, we had a conversation about that backstage, and he was just telling me, he's like, man, like just be consistent with it. Like there's kids here like your age. The time I was like, when I shot the first show, I think 16, 17. But the conversation that we had, I was already like 20s. Like there's 20-year-olds that are, that are getting it right now. And it's all social media. Like you got to know what your target audience is, what it is that you're putting out, like bring value to it.
Yeah, the business side.
Yeah, right? The business side and everything, because that's what sells. Like with him, the music, it's very conscious. It's very like structured for minorities, like that you can make it out if I did it. And just seeing how like he talks to everyone in his team, like fans that he meets, is just that like you got to be consistent. There's like the power of social media right now with the young people.
Oh, for sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's amazing, man. So I want to talk about a little bit, fast forward, you're at WSU shooting some content, but what led you from WSU, the college music scene, to Seattle? Because that was the next biggest move that you made.
Yeah. I guess from Seattle, that was more of just coming up here before I moved during a pandemic. It's crazy. But
that's another time that you took a risk too, because you didn't have any safety net over here, bro.
It was just a leap of faith, see what I can do out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what led me up here to Seattle, I was respect my region, because I had been coming up here just back and forth, meeting artists. And then I think what really led me out here, once again, was just connecting with people through Instagram. I'd come out here, be like, anyone want to shoot? Is there any other photographers? And then I just come out to shows. I started branching out from Spokane to Seattle to shoot shows, because the bigger artists were coming here.
Yeah.
And I just I'd pick out the dates, like what's the big artist that's coming this day, and then try to circle around that as well, and network like days that, like a day before or a day after.
And when you looked at those dates, like you would center around like their performances, like I'm gonna go to this show.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, like while I'm in this area, I'm gonna shoot some content for other folks and stuff too.
Yeah. And it became more realistic to do that because of the magazine, LS Music Magazine. Because by then it was more legit. It was like we contact like the management from the magazine would contact like the other managers and just reach out to them. So that allowed me to branch out because I can now go to bigger shows.
Oh,
so that's what brought me out here.
Like access, right?
Yeah. So from there, it became me just coming out here more and just building and networking out here.
Yeah, I know you were flying out a lot out here. You're working for an airline, right?
Yeah.
So you were getting like cheaper tickets and stuff.
Yeah.
Was that intentional or like strategic? Like
it was definitely intentional, strategic. Shout out my boy Henry Wu. He's the one that like told me about that. He works for an airline too, and he's like, bro, like a photographer, videographer, like the job, like if you're not doing that full time right now, like the job to get is like working at an airline because you fly for free.
Yeah.
And at the time when I was living in Spokane, I was working for Delta, and that allowed me to like fly around. I was coming in back and forth from Seattle, just quick 30-minute flights. I could shoot a show and come back right away.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
I remember
that was a finesse.
Yeah, and I know you said that once you were working with the magazine, it was a little bit more structured. You guys were reaching out, to the artists and their team. But I know there were some times when you weren't really doing that. And I remember a specific moment, man, when you came, you're like, yeah, I got this show with Larry June, this and that.
Yeah.
I remember I was driving you to the show. And I remember as I was driving you there, you were flipping through your phone through his stories, and you're like, "Oh, he's right here right now. He's right here. Well, let's go find him." I was like, "Wait,
wow,
wait."
Making me sound like a stalker.
Yeah, I was like, "Hold up, bro. Like,
Triangulating.
you haven't reached out to him. Like, he doesn't know you're shooting the show." He's like, "Nah, but he will. Like, we'll find him right now." I was like, "Hold up," and you were like, "Actually, just go to the venue. Go to the venue. I'll find him when he gets there." We pull up to the venue, and like we get off the car. I was just gonna say bye to you. I was gonna drop him off, and like I was just gonna head home. And you were gonna like kind of hang out there, and it's crazy because right when we got off, Larry June and his team pulled up, and you could finish the story there.
So yeah, he pulls up. I get out the car. I had been talking to his videographer, and that's another thing that I'll get into real quick. If you don't have media outlets, like connections within the artist or people around him is another big thing. Like that's how you get into shows.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have.
It's
a media
not just
outlet,
standing around, right?
Not just standing around. You got to talk to people around him, or if you know someone around him, like you can definitely get in the show. But for that, because that was gonna be my first time meeting him. I just walk out because I had been in contact with his videographer, like I said, and I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for Trey," and he was with them. He's like, "Oh, what's up?" I was like, "I was the one that like sent you my content and stuff, and just wondering about the show." And right away, like, "Yeah, you're good. Like, come in with us."
Oh wow!
And that was just that easy. But it's like, timing and everything, man. Timing is everything.
Yeah,
wow,
I think
man.
for you though, that was normal. So you were so chill about that, bro. You're like, all right, bro, I'll see you later. Like, I just met Larry June. Like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot for him now. For me, just seeing that as like a normal person that's not in this industry, that's never done that, I thought that was really cool, man. Like, I think that just goes to show how much you bet on yourself. And I can confidently say most people would be too afraid to do stuff like that.
I had to like work on that.
Yeah,
like as crazy as it sounds, because like I'm photographing and meeting like artists. I'm very like into the music.
Yeah,
that's why I fused both. Like I like photography, I like music, so it just works, right? But at first, like I just fanboy out. You're like, man, like this and that, to the point I was like, man, I think I'm getting annoying. I need to like work on this. I'd be like going after the show or something. I'd be like reflecting. I was like, I gotta work on that. I gotta work on this. And like it's a professional thing. At the end of the day, it's a job. So you gotta like, be on point and just learning from that. And at the end of the day, like they're just humans, and like they appreciate it more if you're just like calm, chill, professional, instead of just like asking them all these questions. Just have a conversation with them. Like, how's your day? That's what I go into actually when I talk to an artist. Like, how was the flight? Have you ate today? Like, have you checked out any spots around the city? Just a normal conversation. Like, you see their shoulders just go down. It's like, oh, okay, this person can have a conversation. It's not like, can you autograph this? Or like, when are you dropping this? Like, it's like they hear that already.
They can't be on all the time.
Yeah,
right? They're human beings too.
Like, damn, this guy's another fan. All right.
It's like, man.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk a little bit more about the other things that you do, because you don't just do photography. You branched into videography. And just tell me a little bit more about like what got you into that. Like, what was the first opportunity that you saw where you'd be like, yeah, I can branch into this type of work?
So what really got me into videography was being pushed into it. Actually, my homie Real Vlogs and Chase Fade were the ones that kept telling me like, man, like, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Like, you can do, like, you're good at photos, but like videos where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta be able to do both in any industry. Like you become a package.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I didn't want to. I was like, man, I just don't want to do it. Like,
was it too much like just learning something new was a little bit challenging, or was it just the fact that it's a lot harder? It is a lot harder.
Yeah. It is a lot harder. Like, I can learn it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's just like the amount of time, like the editing and everything. But that comes with practice. You get better at it. But at the time, I was just like, man, this is not what I want to do. And they would tell me, like, they sneak it in conversations. Like, you got to do it. Like, this is why, this is this and that. And then I just gave into it. I was like, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
And then the opportunity presents itself again. I ended up, so I met you guys are familiar with Young Bree.
Yep.
Met him at the Seattle sessions. I had been invited by Chase Fade just to like do photos and if I wanted to do video.
Yo, shout out Chase Fade.
Shout out Chase Fade, man. He's putting on for the city. And I meet him there. We built a relationship with Bree. And then like months later, so that was in January for the Seattle sessions last January. By May of last year, he asked me like, would you want to shoot a music video for me? And when he told me that, I was like, man, like I don't know. I've never done this. It was more of like, I was looking at the text like for like an hour and I was just like, how do I go about this? Like, it was more so like I'll be honest, I didn't believe in myself to do it. I was like, I don't want to mess up someone's video.
Yeah.
Like, have
It's
it look all corny.
image. Yeah.
You know, so then I was like, but then again, like, there's an opportunity, like, just to practice. Like, you never know. I'm glad I said yes because, like, more opportunities opened up because of that. We did the first music video, like, people went crazy.
And the first music video was
Tiempos en Peligro.
That did numbers too, right?
Yeah,
It got shared by a page.
Yeah, it got shared by the food community.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, seeing all that happen in just the first video, I was like, okay, like, there's something here. Like, I got to tap into it. Like, if I really sit down and, like, learn the craft, like, I can do something. And then the pandemic happened. So that's when I went fully into video. It gave me all the time to just, like, learn. I'm still learning, obviously, but to really, like, sit down and, like, learn how to edit video, how to shoot, and things like that. So I've just been focusing on that more this year now, just video.
Yeah.
So since that music video, it branched into other opportunities like you mentioned too. You got a chance to do some behind the scenes with a local artist, Macintosh.
Yeah, so the person that put that play together was my boy Chase as well. He invited me to one of his shows. I met Mac there, and then I shot some like photos for him. And then from there, I built that relationship. He asked me to go to Tri-Cities with them to shoot a couple music videos, and that was like another time. Like I had just shot Bree's video. That was the first thing, and then now Mac, that was the second thing. And he told me to go out to Tri-Cities with him for 2 weeks and just capture content. Wow. And I didn't want to be. I want like deep down, I needed the cash, so I'm like, man, like I don't know what I'm doing, but like screw it, like I'm gonna figure it out.
Do it though. Yeah.
And I shoot everything, do all that. I send him the content. He's like, man, this is fire. Like you get it. Like you get how to capture me because he's a very funny guy. Like so, I'm like, you gotta match the BTSs of like who he really is, and like everyone around is just funny. Like they talk shit to each other, but you see them getting work done. I send the video. He's like, man, like this is good. He's like, I think I'm gonna make you my like BTS guy, like wherever I'm at, and I need you. And then I tell them, I'm just like, hey, bro, would you believe me if I told you, like, I've never done this? Like, this is like, I was like, if we're being honest with each other, like, if we're going to, like, build a relationship and be homies, like, I got to be transparent. I was like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. I just put this together and, like, it came out. And he started laughing. He's like, hey, bro, we'll just keep doing what you're doing because it's working. I was like, okay. Like,
that's dope, man. No, that's crazy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and so you've been in some pretty interesting situations, right? Like you kind of just jump into these situations. What are some crazy things that have happened behind the camera?
Man, I'm about to incriminate everybody. Nah.
Snitch.
So
Let's
there's
go.
no snitching. No snitching. But there was 2 artists. I won't mention their names because no snitching.
Yeah.
But the first one, I was shooting an album cover in Seattle, and the crazy thing is this person had just got out of prison. So like he's chilling. Like he's not trying to start a drama. Like it's nothing with him. It's all good vibes. We're shooting the cover. I'm setting up the shot. And then all of a sudden, like some random guy from an alley just pulls up and he's just like, hey, like who wants some smoke? And everyone just like churns. And I'm in the middle of everything because I'm setting up a shot. So like everyone's like on this side, I'm in the middle, and then this guy's just coming out the alley.
So you're just focused on the camera.
I'm just like, I'm just doing my job. And then this guy's like, who wants smoke? And everyone just churns, and this guy just pulls out a pistol, and he's just like, this, and that. And I'm just like, man, I'm about to get shot today. Not what I had planned. And I'm like slowly backing up. I'm just like, you guys can handle your shit. And then the guy, he's just like, man, we don't want no problems. Like, what are you doing here? It's this and that. It ends up getting fixed. Nothing happens. Cool. And then, but I was just like, man, from just like a normal, I was not expecting that to happen. I'm shooting a cover.
Right. It's
going
like
about
Saturday
my day.
Afternoon.
Yeah, just a nice Saturday, sunny in Seattle, and then guns come out. But the second instant too was another thing involved like that. I was invited to a music video, and it was the first time I was gonna meet the artist. And he just told me to pull up on him, and he's just like, yeah, we're gonna be kicking it out here shooting a video. If you want to just hang out. I went to go take photos and just to network. and they were just getting ready to shoot, and then some random guy is just driving by, zooming by, and it just seems suspicious because he's like slowing down as he's approaching us, and then just drives off, comes back. So then the artist is just like, man, like, this doesn't seem like right. He goes to the trunk and opens the duffel bag, and there's like pistols, ARs, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck's going on? And it's like, well, these are for the music video, but like they're loaded in case someone tries. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? And then the guy like stops there and he's like saying stuff to them. All these guys just pull out the guns and just cock it, and everyone's pointing at him. He's just like, get out of here. We're not trying to start problems. Like, you're acting very suspicious, and like you need to leave. And then the guy, I don't know, he's just like gets out the car. He's like, well, shoot me then. Wow. I'm just like, bro, like just leave. And then the artist is just like, he like turns back and he laughs. He's like, bro, I don't want to blast them. Like, I'm trying to get in this music shit, and these guys are testing me right now. Like, I don't need to catch like prison time right now. And then he's just like, bro, you just gotta leave. Just dips, and I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, wow. Yeah, man. It was just it was funny though, because like they're all acting hard, and then when he tells them shoot me, he's just like, bro, I don't want to catch a case right now. Just leave. Like, you need to leave. Yeah. But those are like the craziest instances where it's just like, I was not expecting that. I just went to go kick it, and then
that's wild, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
you gotta be ready for whatever type of shooting.
Photo shoots almost turning into shootings. Yeah, that's crazy.
I want to talk about just a little bit about your portfolio, man, and just kind of show off and just understand a little bit more about the stories that you got. So for those of you that haven't seen him, you can catch Cris at Visual Subject on Instagram. This is his Instagram profile here. And dude, you posted a lot, man. 1,600 almost posts.
I know.
We were just talking about that. I'm like, damn, man, you post one every day or what?
And if you scroll down, like I'm telling you, I'm not lying. Those iPhone shots all the way to the bottom, you can see all that.
Damn, man, it's gonna take years to get to the bottom, bro. Look at you, man.
You can see the growth. I didn't want to delete anything.
Yeah, look at that. Wow, man.
That's
so
cool.
I already have some picked out. So let's talk about this one. So this one was taken. It looks like you posted it back in 2019. It's with YG.
That's clean.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how this photo came to life.
So remember how I was telling you something's like last minute?
Yeah.
And my Danielle, the boss of Ellis, would always get on me with this, like, you got to stop doing things last minute. Like, come on, Cris. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know I was going to be in Seattle. I was like, can I shoot it? She's like, email this person at Def Jam and see if we can get it. I'm just like, I'm going to get you the shot. Like, don't worry. Like, I got this. I email the person. They get back to me an hour before doors open. Wow. And I'm all the way in Linwood.
Wow.
And the show's like in, what was the show at?
Wait, so you were here?
Yeah, I was here in Seattle. Yeah, I was here. And it's an hour before doors open. So like it's raining, traffic, and I'm like a good 40 minutes out. And I'm trying to get there before like even the openers go on, because there was some good openers. There was like Kamaya, another years or whatever. But anyways, like I get there, I get the pass barely on time, and I'm able to go through the lines and everything, and I got in, and I'm just okay. I'm here, like it's time to work. By the time YG came out, it was easy, man. I just being there in the pit and just got the shot, man. That was a great performance.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Just last minute though.
All right, I want to talk about this one. This is Larry June.
That's clean.
It's Uncle Larry,
man. The orange smoothie.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about this photo.
This one was the second time, I believe, that he came out to Seattle. I had already met him before, so that one was easier to get in. I had just contacted his videographer again, and he actually wasn't there, but he just told me, just come through. Like, they know who you are. Like, they're waiting for you. And we were just all backstage hanging out, and I just asked him for a quick flick. This was like I think 5 minutes before he went on stage.
Oh,
I was
wow.
just kicking in. I was like, hey, can you post for a flick real quick? He's like, yeah, for sure.
And he's a cool guy, right?
Super cool guy. He's funny, man. He is.
Born in 91. All right. King Little G, your first concert. But this wasn't from your first concert,
No,
right?
this was already the fourth time, I believe. This was in Seattle, though.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah.
That's some cool shots.
This is where I told you where we had that conversation where he like
he remembered you.
No, that was actually after, but this was more of like him, like I got to see like this is how he treats his fans, this is how he talks to them, and like because someone had asked him like, how'd you get here to where you are? He's like, social media, man. You got to really be consistent with everything. He's like, you're to the ones that are young, like
Mm-hmm.
there's so much, like if you use it correctly, what you can do. Like it doesn't matter, like if you're trying to make music, arts and crafts, gear, whatever it is, like you just gotta know your target audience and like bring a value to the product that it is that you're presenting. And like, that's the best marketing tool, man. Instagram.
Dropping game.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Burner.
This was literally a last minute thing too. Like
All right, so let me set it up here. So Burner is a rapper.
Yeah.
California. Was this the first time that you met him?
Yeah, first time. The crazy
Wow.
thing is, I woke up. This was on a Sunday. He was doing a meet and greet and was gonna have a show at the Knitting Factory, and I had no idea. I hadn't heard about it, nothing. And I wake up that morning, and I hear that he's gonna be doing a meet and greet, and I'm just like, I think by the time it was already 15 minutes before he was gonna arrive, 15 to 30.
Yeah.
So I just showered and left. Drove like 15 minutes into the city. Was just waiting, walking around. I got there before he got there, so I was able to like talk to the people at the dispensary and just say like, hey, I just finessed it. Like half the time, little white lies, and I was like, hey, I'm a photographer. I'm doing this, and that. And she's like, oh, you're cool. Like, don't worry about it. So I'm just waiting for him, and he shows up. I'm like sitting by the door. There's like a couch. As soon as he walks in, I'm the first one he greets. And I wasn't expecting it because I was just like, I was getting my gear ready. As soon as I'm done, I look up. So as I'm standing up, he's walking in. So we just face to face.
Wow.
He's like, oh, what's up, player? And I was like, oh, how's it going, man? He's like, hey, you buying some weed today or anything? I was like, nah, but I'm here to photograph you. But after that, the other thing was though, like, I didn't have any access to the show. And I didn't, like, it was such a last minute thing. Like, I'm not trying to contact the magazine because, like, if I can finesse it already, like, just do that. You know, if I can just meet with one of his homies or, like, the team. And the guy that's with them, Stingy, shout out Stingy, I was talking to him and telling him, I was like, hey, man, like, I'm trying to shoot the show later. Like, do you think I can come through? But before I did that, like, another thing that I recommend for anyone that's trying to get into, like, doing concert photography, like, don't just focus on the artist. Focus on his people, too, because they matter. They're just as important. It's a team effort with who this person is, right? Like, so I take photos of, like, the people around him, and because they are important at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And, like, I did that first, and then from that, I was asking questions, like, is it cool if I come through? And he right away is like, what's your name? Gave him my info, and then he called one of the people that for the guests, like, yeah, make sure he's here. Put on the guest list to shoot at this time, and that's just how that happened. Yeah.
So Stingy Burner's manager, or
He's his friend. He's like his very best friend. Like before he blew up or whatever. Like they just grew up together. He actually raps, but it's funny because they're like the way that they get along. Like Burner's always just like making fun of him, roasting him, but like they're really good friends. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's awesome, man. Well, and then I got another one for you. So
Shout out to homie Louie.
Louie's a rapper out of Tacoma, Washington. He's been on a couple of features. One of them with Cowboy, right?
Yeah, Cowboy.
So tell me a little bit about this, because he's blown up.
So this one was, I actually talked to Max about this. I think Max had put me on. Yeah, Max had put me on to Louie, and he told me, he's like, hey, bro, you got to check out this guy. Like, he's blowing up. He's from Tacoma. I was like, okay, I'll check it out. I had heard it was his Heartless EP, right?
Heartless
Yeah,
EP,
I heard that front to back to front. I was like, man, this is a great body of work. I reached out to him. This was like, months ago. And I wasn't expecting him to reply. I literally just like, it was more of a genuine thing as far as like trying to work with him. I was just like, hey man, I just listened to your EP. I really like it. Like, just wanted to like, respect. And I told him, I was like, I'm actually out here living in Seattle right now. I'd love to like link up and work. He hits me back up in 10 minutes.
Damn.
It was just a random DM. And he's just like, yeah, bro, there's work. Like, I'm down.
Damn.
And he's like, I actually just looked at your work. I was scrolling through it. And he's just, let's do something. And then from there, just built on that. Yeah, I've had a chance to kick it at the studio with him a couple times, see his process. He's very, very good at what he does. Very detail oriented.
That's cool.
Wow. And that was just based off of a recommendation from Max.
Yeah,
man.
that's another thing too, man. Like, and that's the thing for me, like with DMs too. Like, it's just, you got to know how to go about it, obviously.
Yeah.
But like the fact that he just replied and it led to another opportunity.
I think your work speaks for itself, though. You go to your page and you got, like we said,
Thank
like
you.
1,500
Catalog,
good
bro.
shots,
Yeah.
man.
I don't care if it's iPhone, whatever, bro. Like, your shots are
bro,
freaking dope, bro. All right, I'm going to skip ahead. I have a couple of shots. This is Soul.
Yeah. Shout out Soul.
This is a part of a series of images around, this was May 30th, 2020. And this is right around the Black Lives Matter movement. And there's another shot that you took just, I think, a day or two later. And you have a lot of great shots from this.
Thank you.
If you check out his profile, if you guys are interested, go to Visual Subject. There's a full, I think you posted like maybe a month straight of just these like photos that I think are like super iconic.
You were at a protest, right?
Yeah, you were at the protest. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
So before I get into it, I was more of a back and forth with doing it first, because after like it was going on, I was like, it's just a fucked up situation with what's going on. Not just like with the Black Lives Matter things, but everywhere with all minorities, right? And like with me, I was like, I have a camera. Like, there's got to be something I can do, because I just saw people posting and like sharing, and I was like, that's not, you can only do so much, I was like, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm just like following social media because like it looks cool, whatever it is. Yeah. Like, not trying to knock anyone for doing that, but I was like, I have a camera. At the time I was in Spokane, I was like, there's riots going on here. Like, the least I can do is capture it and a piece of history for Spokane. So I just dedicated like a whole month straight. Just photographing for the Black Lives Matter movement, being in the front lines there and just capturing it. And I'm glad I did it, because at first I was like, I don't want people to think that I'm just doing it because all the other photographers are doing it. But then I saw it as like, I feel like you should be doing it if you are a photographer. Like, capture that, take a break from the content that you are posting, and like for your followers to know like, yo, I'm with this too, I'm here to help with whatever, at least do the least that I can do,
Yeah, and man, it's cool because this is like out of your element. Exactly. Like, you've done portraits, you've done artists. This is like capturing a real life event. And that shot that was just right there with that guy, like, he's looking out the window, kind of smirking a little bit at the camera, and like just holding up this sign. Like, that's a moment in history, And then you got the police there, you got the people holding the flag. And this is during COVID, so people kind of have masks on a little bit.
Yeah, man. These are just crazy images, man. Like, did you experience like any violence like during those protests, or was it largely peaceful?
The crazy thing is, I had just left right when like violence had escalated, and a part of me was wanting to capture that, but then again, I was like, no, I'm not trying to promote that either. Yeah. So I'm glad that when I left, it's not that I left right when the violence was starting. I didn't know. I was like, I feel like I got enough content. I'm just gonna go edit these. And like right when I had left, I guess, like as I'm on the road already halfway home, they tell me like, yo, like this is what's happening. And I was like, I could go back, but I'm risking a lot too. Yeah. But it's like, because it wasn't even of like,
this one I think is my favorite out of this series,
that one's
man.
Very
this is
emotional.
Powerful.
But the reason I didn't go back and capture the violence, because it's like, once I heard that they were just breaking into like the Nike store, I was like, why would I want to capture that? Like, that's not this. It's not like they're rioting for like, in a way, like they were just looking to loot. It wasn't nothing like, like, oh, they did something to us, like we got to retaliate. Like,
taking advantage.
They were just taking advantage. And it wasn't even the rioters that were looting. I heard that it was like, I don't know, don't quote me on it, but I heard that it was like people from Idaho that came down.
It's like an outside group that wanted to ruin the real cause.
Like,
right. Opportunistic. Right. Well, I want to switch it over to a lighter note, because we were talking about this music video. This was your first music video, man.
Correct.
And it's coming through on the audio right now. But this is crazy, man. When you posted this, I was like, damn, bro, this is your first music video?
Yeah.
Like, come on, crazy. Man. You were saying you were not confident in your ability to do this.
Shout out Chase with the VHS footage. He actually pulled up. Because
I
was nervous. Who was I talking to? I think Max. I was like, hey, bro, I'm a little nervous, man. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. There's a whole crowd here. Because originally, this is a crazy thing too, he had just invited like 10 people. It was just his homies, and they were gonna have a barbecue. Then the whole neighborhood just came out.
Wow.
And it became a community barbecue, like a block party. Yeah. And then Chase was like, bro, you got this. Like, don't trip, man. Just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And then after I did a couple shots, like just seeing what the vibe was as we were going, then I got comfortable, and then this is what we ended up making.
That's dope.
And shout out to Bree, man. This is just a dope song, and I think Coming With You was perfect. The way you like brought the elements together and made a visual out of it, it's just clean.
Yeah, man. I'm proud of that kid, man. Like seeing what he's been doing, especially now with the partnership that he did with Aocho. Shout out Aocho. And like what he's been able to, because he hasn't really released as much music, but what he has released is very quality. Like you're gonna bump it.
Yeah, it's all quality.
So like to see what we've been able to do so far just by ourselves before like Aocho came in, like, and then where he's gonna take it now, like it's crazy, man. I'm proud of him. Super proud of him.
That's crazy, man. Well, I want to end it here. I want to thank you, man, for coming through the studio. And people can find you on Instagram at Visual Subject, Twitter, Facebook at Visual Subject. Do you have anything else coming up that people can like find you at, or people can connect with you at?
So what we got going on, I've been very like dedicated to helping Bree right now, building himself visually, whether it be with like music videos, photos, anything. So we were just in LA, I want to say a week ago already, and we got 2 videos coming out, once with Mr. Capone and once with Doughboy. So I got that going on, and then just been like helping the label right now, which will just like with whatever it is that they need with content as well for him. So yeah,
you heard it here first.
Together.
Check him out on YouTube at Visual Subject. He'll post those videos, and you can find him on Instagram, Twitter, everything at Visual Subject. Again, thank you for coming through the studio, Cris.
Thank you for having me, man.
All right, and we'll catch you guys next time.